Hi everyone, Mature Simmer here. Welcome. So I've been doing some work since we last met. I ended up finding a place to put a couple of these sheds. They're the smallest thing available, just 3 bays. They're pretty small as far as width, so I was actually not able to fit the plow or the rock picker into them. Both of those implements are wider. But as you can see, I've gotten some other things in. These are all too high to go all the way to the back, so with the leaning roof, it obviously causes a bit of a problem, but at least they're somewhat out of the way. I put the rock picker in the woods over there, and for the most part then the shed's relatively empty. As we talked about, as we go along, we'll start filling this again with cedar, planter, and so forth. But right now, I like, the emptiness, the ability to move things around. And the great thing was, I still have to do something with that hall master. That's obviously going to fit in the shed. It's way too big for this. If it stays indoors, I may just put it somewhere in the woods too. But the good thing is I was able to do this without taking out any trees. So obviously even that one, I was initially wondering, am I going to have trouble backing in? Certainly not. It certainly is in the way to some degree, but not enough that I felt to take it out. So I think I put those two in by coming in from this side, and then I backed the sprayer in from this side. So speaking of the sprayer, I'm going to go ahead and see if I can fertilize this morning. Alright, I'm going to try this out, and hopefully we have better luck than we did the other day. I'm not going to go very far. Let's just take a quick look at the map. Make sure that we are seeing a clean fertilization streak. Not really, but it's better. Looks like we have a couple spots up there that are acting up. So that's a good sign. It's telling me I need to roll the field as well. I don't know if I can do that once the plants have started. So I'll fertilize it, and then maybe I'll try that too. But at this point, I'm going to go ahead, and I guess it's going to kind of be what I can get. There's not much I can do about it. The benefit right now is it's better. I think I'm going to go ahead and run a couple passes. Whoops. Definitely missing some things on the edge here. So let me hang out a little bit more. I'm worried I'm going to create a diagonal track here. I think I am. Maybe, maybe not. Maybe it did do it. Wow, this field has got more of an angle to it than I thought. Right, I'm going to want to obviously go that way as much as possible, and I'll probably just start on this end and come back. So I'll make some progress here, and then I'll show you where we're at, and we'll go from there. A change of plans, again, kind of the norm with Farming Simulator, and so I did run through the field a little bit with my tractor before unfolding this. I am not crushing the plants, which sometimes happens on doesn't, you know, it works on the first growth stage. Now, I obviously haven't gone over with the rollers. Am I losing them? No, it looks like we're okay. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and roll this field because I need it for yield, and obviously with all this work I've put into the planting of this thing, the last thing I want is to lose yield, and I think this is going to give me a substantial change. So let's just take a quick look, because right now it's telling me I'm 33% fertilized. My yield bonus is 67. Now the highest I had before was 98. So, oh, but it's telling me it needs rolling, so this isn't actually doing anything at this point, so it may be... Oh, goodness, so I need to have done it before things came up, huh? Yeah, so looking at the map, it's just not going to let me do this. Well, that hurts, because certainly I didn't want to lose any yield. You can see on the fertilization, not getting exactly the result we wanted, but the spots are not as large, so at least I'm going to get some benefit. So we'll go back to fertilizing, but you can see that's where we're at with that, and I'll probably give you a look at what the finished product looks like, because hopefully it won't take me terribly long given the working with. But I'll go put this roller away. It was worth a good old college try. I'm just going to capture this information so you guys have it. So I've been going crazy, pulling out what little hair I have left, figuring out what was wrong. And I still don't know that I figured it out, but at least I appear to have a better result. So over here, I liquid ferted, and then I was, like, it started this way, which, okay, it's not great, but, you know, it's probably 75% of the field, but then it started doing this ladder, where basically this was the tractor line, and then, like, it had a few spurts, so it's not even 50%. I then found out that if I went, like, across, it actually erased the fertilization that was there before if I went over where I had already been, which I've never seen happen in Farming Simulator. I then decided, let me go try solid fert. And of course I was a little concerned because you can't get thin tires on the, well, maybe you can. I don't know. Maybe I do have thin tires, so this might work. They look about the same as the tractor. Because the reason I wasn't doing this before, and why I liquid fert, especially the second time, is I thought I'd be destroying crop. Otherwise, maybe that won't be the case, and so maybe I just solid fert everything. So if you recall on the canola, like the planter would fertilize. So that was our first pass, and then we went over with liquid fert, and everything worked. But when I tried to liquid fert this field early, I had that same problem, so I stopped. And then, you know, we planted, and the intent was, okay, I'll fertilize afterwards, and since liquid fertilizer is a little less expensive, I thought, well, I'll just use that, since I couldn't plant and fert with the potato planter. But now I've gone ahead, and as you can see, I'm getting the results you would expect, which would be I'm applying fertilizer and the field is being fertilized. You know, I'd call it perfect fertilization, but, you know, this is what I want. I don't want ladders. So these are passes I made, and then a little bit of overlap, because this, I think, was when this was still working. It just, when I went down this way, it just happened to merge, so it looks like I made like 2 passes there, but I didn't. So, you know, I'm going to go ahead and fertilize this with solid. Again, I've kind of tossed it up to the community, made people aware, but I don't know if it's just a liquid fert issue or what. But just wanted to share that view of what is happening. Because the other thing, like you can see, and obviously I can't get a arrow up here to point, but behind in the pattern, like you can see the field getting slightly, I don't know that this actually helps. It's probably, if I get too close, you can't see the field. The field gets darker, which is what it should. Now you can kind of see above a little bit better than you can below, but you can see it gets slightly darker along that kind of arc where the fertilizer is spreading. What I was seeing when I went through areas that I had touched already with liquid fert in front of my trailer, the fertilization would entirely vanish as I went over it, which is kind of what was happening when I was going over it with the liquid fert itself, because someone had suggested, well, I did it and then I did a second pass and that took care of it, which is all great, but you're using twice the fertilizer because it's not like we're applying less. Once again, you know, with precision farming, maybe it would work. And ultimately that may be where we end up here, and in the short term we're just going to have this weird anomaly. But you know, you can see that field darkening a bit, and it's, I know it's hard to see with the potato plant. I can barely see it here. I'm hoping it's coming through on the recording. But you know, and in this case, like, I don't have the field fertilized in front of me, but I'm gonna, you know, you can see the edge. I'm coming up to it. Now watch what will happen. It's literally going to vanish when the tractor gets on it. See? It clears, and then it clears again. And so I have to go over the whole thing with solid fert, or I don't actually have fertilization anymore because it eliminates what's up here. So it's just bizarre. I don't know what else to say about it, because that's what it is. It's, whoops, that's not what I wanted. I wanted to turn, I wanted Alt X, not just X. So I'm going to try to get this done. You know, the challenge, of course, is, you know, I mean, I guess there's not a challenge. I'm just reusing and refertilizing a little bit. So there we go. It'll vanish again. There, boop, there it went. And again, I'm hoping you can see it, but I can certainly see it. Part of it is I know what I'm looking for. I'm looking for the dark area, and basically when the trailer or the tractor get to it, it negates what was there, which makes me think, you know, I think they use masks over the map for different types of application, and I don't know if the liquid fert map is somehow defective or what's going on. But the important thing is, it appears that with solid fert I can get what I need. So like that upper corner here, you know, that was liquid fert going across, and this solid dark line is the basically because that's what stayed from before. So now it's given me credit for fully fertilizing for a second pass, because that was remaining from before. I just want to turn off the little bit here as I go through this island and save whatever little bit I can, because first off, you know, we don't want to be putting extra fertilizer into the runoff water if we don't have to. And obviously the next pass is when I have a couple through the main island, I won't have, you know, I'll be able to turn it off for substantially longer, but definitely be able to save some fertilizer and not, you know, do it everywhere. You know, it's harder to see here, but now again, you hopefully where you see the little white dots going, you can kind of see the little arc just right around that same way is turning dark, which is the field state changing, which is how FS works. Where, you know, if I hadn't waited, for example, for the plants to grow, you know, when I went and fertilized after planting, it probably wouldn't have let me go, but maybe it would have, given that everything was kind of botched up. So I'm not sure that I'm going to be able to run. Well, I already said this too, so never mind. I'm repeating about running through the field the second time. So But definitely I'll take a look the next day if this continues to pan out and doesn't suddenly go south on me, but I literally have no reason to expect that it would. And you can see, like I said, that potato planter ran away quite a bit. So, but we'll get rid of that kind of, when we go through harvest, and this field will continue to be weeds, and then when we finally plow it, we'll go from there. So, next topic of discussion, it seems that Crow Creek Ranch that had bought Field 4 and Field 10, I finally tracked them down. Kind of funny coincidence is I basically posted in the questions about what was happening with my Fert this morning, and then they were the ones to answer, even though I couldn't find them on Discord before. So I was able to then message them and found out basically they had been told they were moving to our server, so had bid on the pieces of land, but then they actually moved to 217 instead of 212. So Fields 4 and 10 are not sold, but they were up for auction, and so it was basically the same process that I've been using, which is something comes up for auction and I plow it. Now, my worst nightmare has come to pass because Field 1 has showed up on auction, and we all know about the size of Field 1. So in theory, I should plow Field 1. Now, I'm probably 99.59% certain nobody's going to buy Field 1. So the reality is probably, and that's probably what I'm going to realistically have to operate with, because I don't have 7-8 hours to plow that field, or however long it's going to take. It's going to take a long time, because I know some of the other fields were taking 2-3 hours, and it's easily double the size of the fields I've done so far. So maybe I'll get it, could get it done in 5 or 6 hours, but obviously when we did the one pass around and it took 20 minutes just to do the headland pass, you kind of get an idea of what we're talking about. And then we've got to stripe that field, whatever it is, 70, 80 times to get it fully done. But it is up for auction. It showed up today. But like I said, I don't know that anybody will actually buy it, because it's 4.3 million and it's obviously huge. And at this point, I'm not seeing anybody really bidding on anything. So, just trying to get far enough along here that I can do that, fertilize it. I think I got most of it. If I didn't get a little bit, this is better than what I would have had. So I'm not going to go ahead and make a headland pass, because as you can see, for the most part, other than that tree right there, I'm in decent shape for keep hitting X when I don't mean to, but I'm in decent shape for getting this done. We're probably gonna miss a little bit on the edge there, but again, it'll be a tiny bit. So I'll plow what I can on Field 1 when I can, but I think that's going to be one that's just going to be kind of a work in progress, and I'll knock it out, which was my goal over time. But it came to pass that it came up for auction before I was anywhere near finished, because I haven't touched it since I did basically that headland pass and a half or a tenth or whatever it is, because I did do like a little bit extra to be able to start going north and south appropriately, so where the forest would butt up against it, I wanted to back away a bit. So my plan is now to go ahead and finish this, as I mentioned, and had tried to do before. Now it looks like I'll be able to actually accomplish that properly, which is great, because if nothing else, I have one full layer of fertilization on this field. And then, I'll catch up with you at the end here. So, mostly got everything done. I didn't run over every little piece because it just was such a small amount. I'm like, the fertilizer I'm going to use is not going to really help. And like I said, it's leaps and bounds better than what I had. So I also ended up, Ginger was responding on our Discord, and he mentioned that, yeah, he's used solid Fert and never had a problem. So that it may be a liquid Fert thing. Now, I did use liquid Fert for the second stage up on the canola, so I may still do that for the upcoming second pass. Whoops. Stuff laying all over. That's my lime, which means I'm going to have to... This is just problematic. Alright, I need to do the right thing. I keep like putting the Fert in and then putting it in the crampy and then putting the lime back in, but I need to just at some point today, I can't do it now because I'm already with all of this mess today. I was supposed to be running some errands like 2 hours ago, and I'm gonna go and do them now, which obviously probably means it's gonna be busier out, and I'll be more unhappy with not having gone earlier. But at this point, like, once I got everything running, it was already like too late, and then I'm like, alright, I just need to finish. So in any event, I'm gonna go ahead, get this parked, and then I will get the lime put away properly, which means, yes, I'm still gonna have to use the truck. So I'll probably pick up the lime in the truck before I leave, just so pallets aren't sitting on the server and giving it more difficulty than it needs. No, this may be all I can get in. I know I can't get too far, but I thought I could get further than that, but it's refusing to back up. So, you know, I'll get those pallets at least off the ground, and then all I'll have is the liquid Fert over there, which is 3, which still puts me above the limit, but I will take care of it before tonight and basically get the liquid Fert out of the sprayer, put it back in the silo, and then you know, pick those up. So that's all I've got for now. What a crazy, crazy day. Not at all what I expected, but hey, that's part of the fun of all this, is trying to figure out what challenges the thing throws at you. So I will see you next time.